It's time once again for a special COVID-19 update with Representative Kristin Robbins, representative from 34A, representing Maple Grove and some of the surrounding communities. Welcome once again, Representative. How are you today?
I'm very well, Dave. Thank you. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Representative in her home office today, doing a lot of catch-up, I understand. Let's talk about what has happened in the last week or so related to COVID-19 at the Capitol. I know one of the things you were very interested in and working hard on was help for small businesses. Give us the recap of that progress and what is available now.
Yes, I'm very thrilled to be able to share that the governor did sign the small business bill for grants for small businesses into law. And that program, the application for it went live yesterday. And on all my social media, I put up the link to the application. And it's also available on the Department of Employment and Economic Development's website. And basically it allows for $10,000 grants for small businesses that have been impacted by COVID-19 closures. And so everyone has 10 days to apply. So the application window was open yesterday, June 23rd through 5 o'clock on July 2nd. And once the application window closes, then they'll kind of make sure all the people who applied were eligible, and then there will be a lottery to select the winners, because we're expecting there to be far more demand than we have for the $60 million we have at this point for the grants. But I'm looking forward to seeing the businesses who can get the help, who so deserve it, will be able to get this help. And then hopefully down the road, if there's available federal COVID money that we haven't needed for hospitals or other things, I'm hoping we can maybe add to this program.
Very good. Speaking of federal money, let's talk about assistance to cities. I know it's been a topic that's been talked about. Again, give us an update of where that is right now and what you're hearing from some of the local cities you represent.
Right. No, this was one of the many frustrating aspects of the special session we concluded over the weekend. There had been a leadership agreement between the House and the Senate, both caucuses. So it was bipartisan leadership agreement between all four leaders of how we were going to get the federal COVID money out to cities and counties in the state. And they had come up with a formula based on population, and it was, you know, a really hard-fought agreement that really everyone felt was fair. We expected it to pass like this. And the first day back in, the governor had it passed the Senate. We thought it would pass the House easily, but then the governor asked for a supplemental budget request to be added onto it in the House, and that torpedoed the whole agreement. So our cities in our area, Rogers was supposed to get $457,466. I'm sorry, that was the Dayton amount. Dayton was going to get $457,000. Rogers was going to get $978,000. And Maple Grove was going to get over $5 million. And that money is really needed by our cities because they've been spending money out of their own coffers to pay for first responders and other COVID-related activities in the cities. And this would reimburse them for those costs because the city budgets are really starting to feel some pressure because of this. Some cities around the state are even facing some layoffs. So we need to get this federal money out to our cities. And I'm happy to take a look at a budget supplemental request by the governor, but to have that added to this already agreed upon bill that stopped money going out to cities and counties was really frustrating. So when we go back into special session, I'm hoping we can do a clean, agreed upon bill for the COVID federal money and just get it shipped out to cities and counties. That money was supposed to be applied for by yesterday and be into cities' hands by June 30th. And now we don't even go back into special session until July 13th or 12th. So that will delay that money by at least a month. So that was really frustrating for a lot of us who were just expecting our cities to get this money. So, but I've been in touch with all our city leaders. They are strong advocates for us getting this done. And so we will keep trying. And I encourage, members of the public who are out there to, contact the governor's office or Speaker Portman and just say, keep the deal as it is, get the money out there. And then we certainly are happy to look at a budget supplemental as well.
We'll talk about that more in just a second as we talk about the upcoming next special session. But we wanted to talk about visitation for long-term care facilities. Some great movement happening here, and I know much needed for a lot of people. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was a good week for giving families a little bit of access to their loved ones. So the Department of Health came out with a new regulation that will allow limited window visits. So you can actually open the window, talk to your loved one face to face, have them hear your voice in person. And we're hoping there will be even a few more restrictions that are lessened to allow a little more contact. Of course, it's really a balancing act because our seniors in assisted living or long-term care facilities are the most vulnerable. That is where the most deaths have occurred, and that is something we all really care about. So we've been trying to improve not sending COVID positive patients back to long-term care facilities to minimize spread in those facilities. Meanwhile, we're also trying to allow a little more contact between family members and their loved ones, because that social contact, that love and relationship is essential as well to their health. And so trying to find that balance of protecting them, but also allowing some contact is really, it's really hard. And I know Minnesota Department of Health is really being very thoughtful and intentional about it, but we want to continue to push forward on both things, and really not having COVID positive patients go back to finish recovery once they're out of the hospital is key to keeping the spread down. And so I hope MDH will continue to also really work on that piece.
In our last minute this morning, let's take a look ahead. So what is coming up next, and what are some of the items in addition to what we just talked about that the representative bodies are going to have to discuss as we come up to mid-July?
Yes, so the governor's emergency powers expire again on July. Well, they don't expire, but if he chooses to, they will end on July 12th. But if he chooses to extend them, then he has to call us back into special session. So July 12th is a Sunday. So we may go back in on that actual day, or there's some discussion that there's like a 24-hour window whereby once he calls us, we can show up. So maybe it will be Monday, July 13th. But right there in the middle of July, we'll go back into special session. And I'm hoping that we will have, between now and then, the leadership will have come up with agreements so that we don't spend as much time arguing in the special session, but it's kind of hammered out ahead of time, and we can vote and get these things done. So yes, the money, the federal money to cities and counties for COVID relief is super important. I would say that would be top of our local cities list. And then the police reform that didn't get done last time, we actually had quite broad agreement on, I think, 11 items between the House and Senate. And I know there were some other controversial things, but we certainly at least should be able to move forward some of those items that are broadly agreed to, and then continue to work on the other issues. And I think we will see a supplemental budget request from the governor, hopefully separately, and that will also need to be attended to. So, and I know there's also some more bills coming down to rebuild the areas impacted by the riots and the looting and arson in Minneapolis and St. Paul. So I'm sure we'll be taking a look at that. So there is a big agenda for the July special session, but I'm hoping that we can come to some agreement and get those items moved quickly, because these areas need to be addressed. And waiting until a potential August special session, I think, just because normally there's a special session, it's all agreed to before you go in. But because people know in the back of their minds, oh, we'll have another kick at the can in a month and a month and a month, I think that's not driving decision making. So I hope that the leadership will be able to come to some solid decisions, because we don't want the emergency powers to go on indefinitely. And I don't want that to be an excuse for that to happen.
Representative Robbins, thank you so much for the update today. Again, a lot has happened and a lot still to come, and we will keep in touch with you to keep residents up to date. Thanks so much. Okay. Have a great
Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great day.
You too.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.